says, life cannot have a definition, but each come with an expiry date. Understanding Shakespeare's 7 Ages of Men in today's world. विलियम शेक्सपियर ने पूरे विश्व की तुलना एक नाट्य मंच से की है। उनका मानना है कि सभी व्यक्ति को इस दुनिया रूपी मंच में अपना किरदार निभाना पड़ता है, जो कि उन्हें ईश्वर द्वारा दिया गया है। हर व्यक्ति को अपने जीवन काल में 7 चरणों से होकर गुजरना पड़ता है, जो कि उनके जीवन के 7 चरण होते हैं। 7 Ages of Men। इस कविता में विलियम शेक्सपियर ने मानव जीवन को 7 चरणों में विभाजित किया है, जिसमें प्रत्येक चरण के अपने गुण और विशेषताएं हैं। Hello and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Sushma Says. William Shakespeare is ranked as the greatest poet and dramatist of English literature. He is a versatile writer who has written poems, comedies, tragedies, and historical plays. The poem, The 7 Ages of Men, is a part of the play, As You Like It, where Jax makes a dramatic speech in the presence of the Duke in Act 2, Scene 7. Through the voice of Jax, Shakespeare sends out a profound message about life and our role in it. The poet compares this world to a stage of a theatre and all its men and women to actors and actresses. They take birth, play 7 different roles, and die. These 7 stages of men's life are that of an infant, schoolboy, lover, soldier, justice, old pantaloon, and second, childishness. After playing these 7 roles and living through these stages of life, man departs from this world. It ends the strange and eventful history of Let us begin with the poem The 7 Ages of Men by William Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange odds and bearded like the bar, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubbled reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fear round belly with good capon line, with eye severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose well saved a world too wide for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice. Turning again towards childish tremble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends the strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sense teeth, sense eyes, sense taste, sense everything. In this drama of life, each one of us plays 7 distinct roles. These 7 roles begin at birth and end with death. Stage 1, Infancy. Birth marks the entry of man in the first stage of life. An infant in the caretaker's arms is just a helpless child learning to survive. Babies communicate with us through their cries. The first stage, the infant who is being carried by a nurse. The infant cries in the arms of his nurse for one reason or the other and vomits all the time. Stage 2, schoolboy. The next phase of his life, man appears as a child in the world. At this stage of the life, the child is introduced to the world of discipline, order, and routine. Then he grows into a school-going boy. He goes to school with a bag hanging from his shoulder. He goes to the school creeping like a snail. He marches to the school unwillingly. Stage 3, teenager, lover. In the third stage of his life, a man plays the part of a lover. He grows into a young man full of desires, ambitions, and dreams. He becomes a romantic young man. He falls in love. He sighs like a furnace and keeps on writing woeful ballads, praising the beauty of the eyes of his beloved. Stage 4, youth, soldier. The next stage William Shakespeare talks about in the poem is that of a young soldier. He keeps a beard like that of a leopard. He always runs after honor and fame. He is ready even to enter a cannon's mouth just for a momentary fame and reputation. He is emotional and jealous. He quarrels with others for his honor and grace. Stage 5th, middle age, judge. Middle age has hardly changed over the centuries. Middle age is a time when men and women settle down and kids, family, and career take precedence over personal indulgence. Age brings wisdoms and sense of peaceful acceptance of realities of life. In the 5th stage of his life, he becomes a judge. He becomes mature and experienced in his thought. The heat of youth has completely cooled down and he becomes very realistic. He wishes to grab wealth by foul or fair means. He begins to accept bribes and thus adds much to his material comforts. He becomes ease-loving and therefore becomes fat. His belly becomes round. He eats healthy fowls and chicken presented to him as a bribe. In this stage, man plays the role of a justice whose waistline grows as he becomes fatter and fatter. He wears a short, formal beard and his eyes become intense. He is full of wise saying and modern instances. He is a man of wisdom and knowledge. Stage 6th, old age. After he has played this part, he goes into the 6th stage. In the 6th stage of his life, man grows old. He looks quite ridiculous in his movement. He becomes thin, wears glasses because his eyesight is weak. The skin around him hangs loosely. His shoes become wide for his feet. His voice suffers a change. It becomes a shrill and quivering whistle. He is made fun of as being a funny old man. His youth has been left behind. Stage 7, extreme old age. With this, man enters the last act where he experiences his second childhood as he becomes dependent on people once more. What Shakespeare talks about in this stage of man is an extreme form of aging. The man turns into a child once again. He seems to forget everything. He becomes toothless and he loses his faculties of sight, hearing, smell, and taste. Slowly but surely, ultimately dies and leaves this world. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I have learned about life. It goes on. Live your life with fulfillment and happiness. Sushma says, you only live once. Goodbye, cheerios till we meet again. Keep listening.